And welcome to Drop In, Drop Out, the weekly podcast where a mix of seven gamers come together for an open and engaging conversation all about video games. Tonight, we're breaking down this morning's Nintendo Direct, and there's a lot to discuss, like where's Metroid Prime, or where's Silk Song? I'm your host, Patrick.
More like...
I'm your host, Patrick. That's Jordan, aka Cognitive Clips. How you doing, Jordan?
Pretty good. How you doing, my friend?
I'm all right. I as you could have told, there's a little something going on in my throat. I'm overcoming the late stages of the novel coronavirus. So I don't feel at my best, Jordan. Thank you for asking, but I'm feeling a little better. I have George with me, my cat. He's in the corner. Maybe we'll zoom in on him later.
Hello,
I don't know that. I'm thinking back to the 9 years he's been in my life. I'm sure someone's called him Jorge. That just felt new to me. Yeah, I don't know.
Did you like it? I can stop.
TBD. We'll get back to you on that. Also joining us this week, the homie Jake Twitchin, the amazing streamer. Jake, welcome in. How you doing?
Doing so well. Hot off that direct. I got some new game announcements that I'm hyped for.
Wow.
I don't know what could be better.
Well, both together. It's, I don't know that you need one to be better than the other, Jake.
Yeah, that's true.
We're back. I'm back. I've been away, as people probably know. Maybe you don't. Maybe this is your first time ever listening to us. But I'm excited to talk with my bros about video games. But as you know, here at Drop In, Drop Out Pod, we have our fingers in all sorts of little pies. How about Tears of the Kingdom Video Game Book Club over at JK Games Podcast Mondays at twitch.tv/JK Games Podcast? I think they just did their 4th episode of Tears of the Kingdom Book Club. So if that sounds like something you like, go give them a follow. Go catch up on Tears of the Kingdom. When I flew to Europe, I played 4 hours of Tears of the Kingdom on the plane, and I was like, man, I'm going to be locked in on book club. And then Bonanza came out. And so I haven't touched Tears of the Kingdom since then. It happens. And then we have here today, Jordan, aka Cognitive Clips, who recently released a video essay about recency bias. Jordan, what do you want to say to the people about your new video on your channel?
Yeah, thank you so much for setting that up. Yeah, I mean, it feels like every year, every podcast, every outlet for gaming always brings up, well, is recency bias going to be a factor during award season, all that sort of thing. Or even if we're talking about a few weeks ago here on Dido, talking about best games of the past decade, like, oh, well, is recency bias affecting it because I just beat Death Stranding 2, all that sort of thing. So what I did was I did the work for you. I looked at all the nominees, all the winners at the Game Awards, at the Golden Joystick Awards, and a couple of top 100 lists. See when these games came out. See what won. See what got nominated. Is there recency bias? Watch it. Find out.
Ooh.
Putting the daddy in datums. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just watched it yesterday, and I've got to say it's my clear front runner for video essay of the year.
How about that? And is that recency bias? Check out twitch.tv/drop-in-drop-out-pod to see. And then also, last night, the three of us and the homie Kayla from JK Games Podcast, we played some Grounded 2 right here on the channel, and we had a lot of fun. And in fact, it is up on our VOD channel, Drop In, Drop Out VOD, instead of pod on YouTube, because that is some fucking synergy, baby. Mm-hmm. So if you don't already subscribe to youtube.com/@ Drop In Drop Out VOD, go give it a follow, go give it a subscribe, ring the bell. We're making an effort to have that channel be nice and used again. So I had a great time with Grounded 2. We might talk about it later in the show, perhaps. Jake, Grounded 2, would you, as a 10-second pitch, would you recommend Grounded 2?
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you do it the way that we did it. If you're a big survival game fan, go to Grounded 2. And if you like it, go back to Grounded 1. Same advice goes to, this next group. But specifically, if you have a bunch of friends that you want to play with, either one friend, two friend, or three, a 4-player game of fucking Grounded 2 is awesome.
It was so much fun.
Mhm.
At first, I was a little concerned because it didn't run super well. But by the end of it, I was like, I don't want to stop, but we had to.
So I had to hop in a little bit later than everybody else. Hashtag dad duties, exclamation point kids. And I get in there, like all my shaders compile like 4 different times. I get like 3 steps in, try to pull up my torch, and then it just crashes. And I have to go back and recompile the shaders 3 more times. But it worked out. It was fun. I'm glad I was able to join in the base building.
Hell yeah. And there are rumblings. There are rumblings that we're going to do a second stream, maybe same time next week, Wednesday evening. So keep your eyes peeled for that. For those of you in the chat, like right now, the homie High Score Weekly, we got Yuhula. We also have Cognitive Clips somehow in the chat as well as on the panel. How could he do both? And our God is in the chat, apparently. I think I have an idea who that may be. It's not any of us, I don't think. And then Heroic Headgear just swinging in, asking, "Did we know Cog had kids?" I don't think I did know that. When did you just have a kid, Jordan?
Yeah. So, not even gonna just go stop.
No, we aren't here to talk about Jordan's children. We're not here to talk about Grounded 2. We're here to talk about this morning's Nintendo Direct. We had a partner direct by way of Nintendo this morning, showing off a bunch of third-party stuff, and we're going to break it down. What I would like to start with both of you is high-level thoughts. What did you kind of expect going into today's Direct? Did it deliver on that? And I'd like a score. Out of 10, what would you give today's Nintendo Direct? Jacob Twitching, I'd like to start with you.
I already know I'm going to be hotter on this than most. I'm going with like an 8 out of 10 on this, a solid B. You know, Keely, as he does, asked me what I thought of today's Nintendo Direct. And I vote like I always do and check out the results. Get a pulse from the real capital fucking G gamers out there to see what people are thinking. I gave it a B. I saw some D's and C's floating around, but I was into it. I think I had the right expectations. I love when Silksong fans have to drink their own tears. That brings me great fucking joy. So I love everybody being. It's like it always. It's like every time this happens, it's now reached like its new fever pitch of like this is. I mean, it's gotta be the ramp up is. This is obviously this is the one. You fucking people do it every single time. You learn nothing. Team Cherry hates you, and I love to watch it fall apart.
If you're not in our Discord, this is a plug to join the Discord. Go to dropitdropoutpod.com. Coal Mines, who just joined the chat, shared a fucking hilarious screen recording of the Reddit of Silksong of them just melting after the Direct, which is very fucking funny. Jordan, Cognitive Clips, what'd you think about today's Nintendo Direct?
I'm actually pretty well aligned with Jacob there. I'd say about a B, about an 8 out of 10. I didn't really get what I expected necessarily. Again, in the Discord, join it. I was talking about, for sure, we're going to finally get a release date for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I do think we're getting Silksong, all these things. And then, of course, my taking a couple lines of copium talking about, well, if they do show a first party, it can be Metroid Prime 4, right, guys? Not nearly as insufferable as Silksong, but at least in my head. But still, what they did deliver, I thought was good. Some strong third-party showings, a lot of first announcements that they were able to snag, even if they were multi-platform. So, good for the boys. Good for them.
So coming into this Direct, for me, I was expecting, I actually did expect, even though they said this is a partner showcase, Jordan, I was like, hey, well, here's just one update from Nintendo Studios or whatever the fuck, and it'd be Metroid Prime. But I was expecting this to be pretty strong. I think Nintendo, and unless I'm fucking smoking dope, I feel like Nintendo has been on a bit of a hot streak with their directs. And so I was expecting like, oh, we're probably going to fill out Q4. We're going to get, Expedition 33 would make sense. Rebirth would make sense. Like all these kinds of bigger blueprints. I think some people in the Discord were saying I was expecting that kind of level of, all right, let's fill it out. Let's get some known quantities, but also some new announcements as well. And I don't know how you guys can give this an 8. I thought this stunk. Like I think there were a couple bright spots, even though some of those bright spots have fucking terrible titles. I would give this like a 4. I was very disappointed.
Wow.
I didn't walk away from this like feeling great about the rest of the year for Nintendo. Now, granted, it's like that's a bit charged because we there's still things that we need answers for. Metroid Prime, Kirby, like, but seeing that Age of Imprisonment isn't this year is fucking nuts. And like it still could be, but it's not going to be. Like, grow up. It's going to be 2026. And so that's the kind of thing. It's like those kinds of things that a lot of Nintendo folks have been expecting to fill out the back half of the year, not getting a date for is like, oof, that is tough.
That was strange.
And so I felt like this was, when I go through all of the announcements, like there's a couple things that interest me. Plants vs. Zombies is like the big one, which is a game that came out like 15 years ago and it's just being re-released. I thought this was one of the weakest directs that I can think of in recent memory. But let's get into it. Let's go through the announcements.
No, I want to fight about it more.
Yeah, let's fight. Let's fight.
I don't know. I want to get into it because once we start going game by game, we're gonna lose focus of like
you're right,
our thoughts on the whole thing. And I want to like defend a partner direct kind of from a couple different angles. Like the first thing that I want out of a partner direct, and I said this right before the show started, is like, listen, it's 25 minutes. There's nothing first party there, which honestly, the rule is a little bit broken. And we sort of knew that would happen because it happened with Age of Calamity, the last Hyrule Warriors in like 2021, where there was a partner direct and it was kind of anchored by that Hyrule game, which is cool, dude. We got to see fucking Zelda at a third party Nintendo Direct. That's a bonus right there. So give that a fucking, put that in the green column. Okay.
All right. That gets one of my 4 points. Keep going.
All right, perfect. Now, then you start adding in things that my biggest ask at the beginning of the show was, I just want to see like one third party weirdo game that I'm not expecting that just like speaks to me individually. And it's not hard to do because I'm a freako. You know what I mean? Like I'm the person that got more excited for like fucking Tomodachi Plaza or what a Tomodachi Life than I did for like Mario Wonder, you know, and I like both of those games, but I just want a little strange game. And Katamari did that for me. The first new we'll get to it. Katamari, very dope. But then I think what we're sort of like overlooking here when we're like doing the entire raid and like giving it an 8 for me, a lot of this is impacted by, I think, like an arbitrary like third party perspective, I guess, or like someone who doesn't have too much of like a horse in the race. Obviously, we are all very, very video game pilled and we know our shit. But I think there's something to say for the body of work that was displayed here for games that we already have access to or we are uninterested in, like otherwise. Like Apex Legends getting onto Switch 2 is a big deal for probably a decent percentage of the, I don't know, what do you think, 4.5 million people that have Switch 2s right now? Little things like that I think matter and we don't give enough credit to.
I feel like with that kind of a thing, you look at some of the third party stuff like EA Sports FC, Madden, Apex, these like very known quantities that have a big audience, but is just not exciting. Like it's not, I don't think that moves the needle really of like that could have been a tweet. That could have been a Nintendo Today announcement. Like that, for me, is not a reason to wake up and watch a Nintendo video about what's coming this year. Same thing with Just Dance. Like, of course, you know, those are the kinds of games like we're going to get news about. But I feel like when you have a showcase of 19 announcements, not including the montage, because those were all things that we've seen before. Like there was nothing new in that. And we saw those for collectively like 1.5 seconds each. And within that, we get another fucking Yakuza that is fucking 10 years old that it seems like every single, any showcase, there's going to be something Yakuza and it's going to be an old game or, you know, a new Freako game, which is always fun. But it's like, I don't fucking care about Yakuza. Star Wars Outlaws, who fucking cares? Like, I know, Jordan, you like that game, and I like the game fine, and Jake liked the game, but, like, this is not a reason for me to be excited at a Switch 2 Direct. Like, that's the kind of thing where if I'm getting a newer third-party game, sure. Like, Expedition 33 just came out earlier this year. There's still a lot of hype for it. Star Wars Outlaws is a dead franchise. Like it's not coming back. Its DLC was a dud. Like who cares about Star Wars Outlaws in the grand scheme? Like, you know what I mean? Respectfully, of course, but it's like those kinds of things. It's like they just start adding up. This chilling by the fire. I know it's getting memed, but like it fucking horse shit. Like I know people are joking that game looks funny and cool, but we all know that it's fucking dog shit. Like no one's interested in actually playing chilling by the fire. So like,
I think what's important though is
and I don't know, but go ahead, Jordan.
Sorry, my bad. I think it's important though, because correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time Madden has been on a Nintendo console for like a generation, right? I don't think they ever brought Madden.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That actually is a bigger deal than you. Huh?
Yeah, I can't remember on the Switch.
Because I thought I heard chatter about that. I know that they brought some FIFA games that they were always like complete hot garbage. That they never even bothered updating. Like, say what you want about IGN, I think they're just as fine as any other outlet, but they had like a running thing where like, since they would never actually update the game between things, they would just copy and paste the review from like 2017 and be like, since they're not going to update their game, I'm not going to update my review either. So that was like a really good little running thing that they had there. But yeah, to have like, those franchises actually looking comparable to other systems, to actually have Madden on the Switch 2 again, to have some of these games, they may be like re-releases or updates or remakes or whatever, but like, I still think it's kind of cool to like have them be so confident in the Switch 2 that they chose the partner showcase to have the reveal for, like the Pac-Man repack thing, like that hadn't been announced before. I'm pretty sure the Katamari game getting the reveal here, when I think I could be wrong. Historically, I kind of associate the original Katamari with PS2. I could be wrong.
Sure. No, yeah. Yeah.
But things like that just kind of make me, even if it's not something that I really care about, I'm still like, good for them. That's kind of cool that this showcase was where they chose to reveal it. And like they always, I think I saw Coal Mines or somebody say it, like someone's always going to like so each game is going to have some fan that is excited about it, even if we're not. So I don't know.
For sure.
That's kind of why I'm like laying higher, is like the things that they did show, even if it's not for me, I'm still excited that the Switch 2 is getting all the support that it is getting.
Yeah, and you make a good point about Madden. According to Google, the last Madden game on a Nintendo console was 13 on the Wii and Wii U. So fair play. I will say that is a bigger deal than I'm giving it. Sure. But I feel like Age of Imprisonment is like the anchor of this. Like Jake was saying, like previously the other one was as well. Whereas that's the closest to first party that we got. And I just think it is such fucking horseshit that we don't have a date for that game still. It's like there was another game like this recently where they just kept showing it and not giving us a date. It's like, why do you keep showing this and not giving us a date? And it's like that. Honestly, if they had said December 2025, even though they know they're going to delay it, I would have given this a 6. But I feel like that's the most important game in this direct, and to still not give us a date is a fuck you from Nintendo, in my opinion.
I hear that. Like, I guess why I didn't dock it too far is like they did show some new footage and like the little tease at the end where like you hear is it Fee or is it Fi? I'll say
I
Fee.
don't know.
You hear Fee's theme from Skyward Sword as some like weird construct thing is getting put together, so it's like, ooh, what's that going to be about? Like, are they going to somehow get Fee's spirit into this robot, because Link's not in this era at the time? So like, they still gave like enough new footage and enough of a tease to still have me excited, even though I do agree. It's ridiculous that there was no release date. They still just said winter. But
I think we can kind of look at this entire thing as maybe confidence from Nintendo in not needing to show their cards because of how good performance of the Switch 2 is right now. Because I think a lot of theories running up through this was they have a shareholders meeting in 7 hours, right, in Japan. And they have to potentially show off some things and give some dates and explain what the rest of their year looks like, their fiscal year looks like for first and third party, so that their shareholders will be pleased. And what it leads me to believe is that the Switch 2 is going to probably have some earnings announced in these next 7 hours as well, where I think the last time we heard about it was like 3.1 million in the first like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. And since then there's been other waves of availability. My guess is
3.5 in 4 days, actually.
Oh, fuck. So I'm thinking that there is going to be, they need to prove nothing to their shareholders with like games or trajectory. Like the system is a fucking smash hit. And this is a little bit of like more of like a contractual obligation. Hey, here's the stuff that you kind of need to know about for the next like 3 or 4 months. This is all the matter of fact. We told Ubisoft Just Dance would be in a direct. We have to give it 60 seconds shows. But for me, I still think better than a lot of people are giving it credit to.
Okay. Jake, a man that almost always gets it right. Sometimes he's going to miss, and that's okay. Sometimes he's going to miss, and that's okay. All right, let's go through the list of announcements. We started off with Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection coming 2026. I wish desperately that I was a Monster Hunter guy, because Monster Hunter fans stay fucking eating, dude. Like, there's always something Monster Hunter related. I know Jake's not a Monster Hunter guy. Cog, are you?
No, I've tried a little bit here and there, but I gotta say, man, like, this is not gonna surprise you at all, just based on the things that I yap on about. But that art style for the Monster Hunter Stories games, it speaks to me, man. Like, so this nice. One, I may have to jump in on this one, because I know that the gameplay is slightly different in the Stories sub-series as well. Like, I just, the combat in the main series is just way too, like, here, there's 5,000 things you should know about. We're gonna teach you about 3. And then you're on your own. Like, I can't vibe with that, but I might have to jump on this one though. I don't know.
Yeah, the closest they could get me was when I learned that you can kill giant monsters with a saxophone, but even that couldn't. I just couldn't get into it. But this art style is really, really nice. But Jake, I even though I know you're not a Monster Hunter guy, does this game do anything for you?
No, but I did have a really funny fucking joke when I was reacting to it.
Ooh, tell us again.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna be perfect this time with all set up too, especially now that your hopes are up. I said Twisted Reflection. That's you in between the cutscenes when it fades to black and you see your face in the fucking Nintendo Switch 2 screen while you're playing this terrible game.
That's very good. I watched your live reaction and I didn't hear that joke somehow.
So very funny. There's so many. The JPM's jokes per minute, as it turns out, are very high. You're probably laughing from the previous one. Twitch.tv/ I'm just kidding.
Their second announcement was how to tell which game was a Switch 1 game or a Switch 2 game, which was a very good use of my time. Look in the top corner, and if you see this icon, that means it's on the Switch 2. If you see both icons, that means it's on the Switch 1 and 2. But if you only see this icon, that means it's on the Switch 1. It's like, come on, dude. We fucking get it. Like,
okay, now I know I'm a simple mind, but
yeah.
For the record, I listened to that, I made fun of that, and then I can't recall a single time where I even perceived that icon there. At no point was I like, yeah, this one's on both, or this is cross-generational. For all I know, there were no icons, and that whole thing was a joke.
Yeah. Well, it's the kind of thing where they were probably trying to get ahead of the nightmare headache of, well, which game is Switch 1 and which game is Switch 2.
Yes.
But that's just not. I don't know that works for anybody.
I was keeping an eye on it, or trying to at least, like, which one's it? Because I was like at work at the same time, so I wasn't really listening with the volume on, so I couldn't hear like what they were saying about it. So I just kind of keep glancing, and so it's kind of useful, I would say. But yeah, it still didn't need that long of an explainer. You could have just put it up there. We could have,
it's so funny. It's so Nintendo.
I'm pretty sure Nintendo's ideal scenario of watching their direct is at work on the phone, sound off, kind of glancing at the phone. Very good. Okay, after that, we got Once Upon a Katamari coming October 24th. That is something that I'm going to play. I'm a new believer in Katamari by way of our sweet dumpster boy, because it's like one of his favorite franchises. He got me one on the Switch at some point, and I was like, oh, I get it. This game fucks. And this looks fun. Like, there's all sorts of kind of new stuff they're adding to it. And it's a new game. Like, it's not one of their just old games that they're re-releasing, which they've done a lot of. So that's exciting. Jake, I bet you're fucking rock hard for Once Upon a Katamari.
It's so sick. It's the first like mainline regular Katamari game in 16 years, 14 years, 15. It depends on how you look at it, because basically there was Katamari Forever on PlayStation 3 in 2009. I think that'd be 2009 would be PlayStation 3 still, right? And then there was Vita Katamari Forever. No, I don't know what the fucking subtitle. Touch My Roll My Katamari, something like that. In
Touch your what?
2011, Touch My Katamari. It's a thing, all right. And since then, there was a big lull. There's a couple app-based ones, I think like iOS ones and Android ones that have come out that are inconsequential. There was actually one like a month ago that came out for iOS that is a full-fledged Katamari game that you can put your controller on and it actually just plays like regular Katamari. That's neither here nor there. This is a big deal. And what's cool about it is that it is proof of concept that the way that they redistributed the Katamari games over the past couple of years worked, because I think it's really impressive that when they put out Katamari Damacy Reroll, the reception was so good to that game that they greenlit We Love Katamari Reroll, which is the sequel to PS2 originals. Jordan, you were right earlier. It is a PS2. Those were both PS2 exclusives back in the day.
Gotcha.
The first two Katamari games. And what the cool hint was, it reminds me a lot of like the Toys for Bob Crash Bandicoot Spyro situation, where they kind of worked on remasters and then kind of proved that they could do their own thing with like Crash 4. They did that with Katamari Reroll, where they put out the first one and it was just a pound for pound remake. Then they put out the We Love Katamari Reroll, and what was exciting about that was that not only was it We Love Katamari, but it also had a couple original levels tacked onto this back. So it was like, okay, this team is now fucking around with making new Katamari content. So that was like the first new Katamari content that we had in a very long time. So now that team, obviously that was behind those first two, is at it doing a full-on Katamari sequel, and I am over the fucking moon. It looks lovable and weird, and the soundtrack's incredible, and oh god, it's gonna be awesome.
High Score Weekly in the chat says, should be noted, original creator only did the first two and is no longer connected. Namco owned the IP. He made that T-Pose Giraffe song game now, but I still like the new ones without him too. Oh, I didn't know that. But to a T, best part of that game was the song.
You're correct. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I think we're better off for it. Sometimes you gotta hand that baby over and let somebody take the reins, I suppose.
My name is Giraffe.
It's still so good.
It's still so good. Dan Goodshow in the chat, just he types it. I have to sing it. That's the rule.
Celebrate Eula's 3-month anniversary.
I was about to say.
Icon.
One of the most exciting things about the Nintendo Direct is that we got another subscription for 3 months from Yuhula. Thanks for being here, buddy. We appreciate it. And then next up, instead of talking about Just Dance, let's look at my cats. Look at them. Oh, wrong way.
Oh yeah,
they're infinitely more interesting than Just Dance 2026. Would we all agree?
You're not wrong.
Yeah, but we have to look at them for like it was like a minute and a half.
Just
like, it's a long time, dude.
Playing an off-brand Lady Gaga song.
It was like every time that went another 15 seconds, and I was like, is it 45 seconds? Is it a minute? Is this 90 seconds? Like, what the fuck is happening, really dude? Please spare me.
There's something very like almost uncanny valley about the whole like the Just Dance avatar things, where they're kind of rotoscoped, but kind of FMV, but kind of just I don't know. It's
very much like it's giving fucking Black Mirror. Like these people, their souls have been trapped in a Just Dance avatar.
There are collective
paralysis demon. The
paralysis demon. Absolutely, absolutely.
That's exactly right.
It's our collective nightmare.
I guess. You coming to say hi?
I really like Just Dance the most when it's on stage at a Ubisoft event. I'm like, now we're getting to the campiness that I'm looking for. I only like Just Dance trailers that are tied to live performances by underpaid dancers.
Being hosted by Aisha Tyler, awkwardly not knowing how to go from point A to point B.
Just Dance 2016 is here.
Yeah. Oh God.
This reminds me of the Sarah Bond thing from when they like showed Fable again. She's like, wow, Fable. Yes.
Yeah. Giving me Girlwood, that's for sure. That's a deep cut to Aisha Tyler hosting a Ubisoft press conference. After that, we got Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, or in honor of the late Dumpster Boy, because he's probably dead. Budokai Tenkaichi 4, Sparking Zero. Local co-op and PvP. Nope, that's for the next game. This is just coming to Switch 1 and 2 on November 14th.
I think that's like a banger, dude. Like, I think that's an underrated game that's going to sell 500,000 units minimum. to a bunch of Dragon Ball Z fans that are going to like having that experience either for the first time or portably. Like, I think that is, again, for us, 60-second trailer, we're like, fucking this game, dude. Like, I'm so done. But in reality, I think that's a cool thing to tuck in here.
It is an unsexy get for sure. And the DBZ sickos are foaming at the mouth for a way to play it on the go on their Switch 2 or Switch 1. Exactly. Next up, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. This got my attention. At first, I thought, because, once they moved away from the OG style and started doing fucking third-person shooters, they started, like, they went full mobile game and just completely destroyed the soul of Plants vs. Zombies. I was like, there's no way we're ever going to get a real Plants vs. Zombies again. And for a second, I thought this was like new old Plants vs. Zombies. It is just a remake of the first one, but hey, that's when Plants vs. Zombies was at its fucking best. This one is bringing in local co-op and PvP. So if ever there was a reason for Jake to fly to Atlanta, or Patrick to fly to Maine, or Jordan to fly to Atlanta, or Patrick to fly to fucking Indiana, I just want to play Plants vs. Zombies with somebody on a couch for content. Okay? Because I fucking love PvZ, baby.
For sure. And it's nice to see like some proper utilization of PopCap IP, because that was such an important part of like the original acquisition of that company by EA. And EA did a classic fucking EA move and like absorbed it for its IP basically, and not for the games that made those IPs great. So they flipped it into fucking Garden Warfare and Battle for Neighborville that were popular for a time but have not lasted. I mean, those are literally fucking games as a service for children for like the Xbox 360 era. And I don't think managed to capture people to enthrall them on the idea of Plants vs. Zombies for the remainder of their life. I think that this game is now made for the people that liked Plants vs. Zombies 1 and to go back and relive that. And I hope that this, again, like Katamari, this could be the start of something excellent, where if that is received well, if they do a good job with this port and there is additional content that seems worth its like merit, I would love to see like a erase Plants vs. Zombies 2, erase Plants vs. Zombies 3 from the canon. You don't need to call it Plants vs. Zombies 2 again. Just call it Plants vs. Zombies backyard shenanigans, and just have it be another Plants vs. Zombies fucking tower defense game that takes place in somebody else's backyard. I think we're looking for 2027 or 2028.
Yeah. Jordan?
There is one PopCap entity, IP, whatever, that I desperately want to come back. Say
Zuma.
1, 2, 3.
Beating
Bookworm.
Classic Bookworm. Bookworm mention.
So good.
What about a Plants vs. Zombies Ate My Neighbors crossover? Do you think we could ever get that?
I think so.
How about Plants vs. Zombies Walking Dead crossover? Featuring Norman Reedus.
And
okay.
And you're
Norman
delivering
Reedus.
mail. Got it.
And Norman Reedus is the pea shooter, but it's urine.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that a thing?
Actual
pea
shooter. Yeah.
Right.
There's something here.
And
Come
it grows mushrooms in the place that helps.
Yeah.
It's like a wall.
Right. Very good.
A little plants hands mans. Very good. After that, we got EA Sports FC 26 coming September 26th. And non-ironically, even though that didn't get my attention, I am a soccer boy, or I once was a soccer boy. It will be nice knowing that if I want to pick up a FIFA game, that the Switch is actually an option now, because that honestly is probably the best way that I would play one of those games now, because I have such a hard time playing a sports game on my TV, because that means I can't be doing anything else. And it just feels like I'm wasting my time in the way that I play games. So if I could play it handheld, maybe I'm more likely to pick up a FIFA game again, but who knows? After that is probably a game Jake's excited about, Pac-Man World 2 Repack. Also September 26th. Jake, is this a you game?
Yeah, I don't have much like nostalgia for this, but when the Repack game came out a couple of years ago, it was for the PS1 original, like kind of 2.5D version of Pac-Man World, and I feel like it made a decent splash. There were some people streaming it, playing it, decent reviews, well received for all intents and purposes, but that was never my game. I was a Pac-Man World 2 guy, which was the one that came out a generation later on PS2, Xbox, GameCube, or some combination of those. So it's a true 3D platformer. It's a true 7.5 out of 10 3D platformer from like 2002 or 3. And it is exactly what you think it is when you look at it. And I think it's going to be sweet to stream. I'm not the most nostalgic for it, but I'm in on that. It was already announced, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was just I think it was the release date trailer type of thing for that. But
would you go as far as saying hashtag not my Pac-Man, Jake?
No, that's my Pac-Man.
That's your Pac-Man. Okay.
Yeah. I also think if you are listening to this and you have never heard the song that plays at the end credits of Pac-Man World Repack, you have to listen to it sometime.
Wow. Okay.
I'll see what I can do about getting that programmed in here while we're chatting.
Sure. Okay. Great.
I think that'd be nice.
As far as your Pac-Man in pop culture goes, would you put that above Pac-Man and that movie with the Pac-Man creator, the Adam Sandler movie?
Pixels? No, that's the best.
That's the best
pop culture version of Pac-Man. My son, I'm so proud of you. Look how much you have grown. It's so good. It has no business being that good.
I do have one of those weird memories that I am surprised that has stuck with me so vividly, of being at a Blockbuster and going down the GameCube aisle. And I remember my friend at the time, Ben, we had been going, this was in the summer, we wanted to get Spy Hunter, but every time we went to get Spy Hunter, it wasn't there. And so we go there, we're like, okay, well, they don't have Spy Hunter again. Let's try Pac-Man World, I guess. And there was like 3D Pac-Man. Okay. And we went home and played it. We're like, this game maybe is fucking great, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll take a couple shots and play
game.
Pac-Man World 2. Who knows?
Spy Hunter, that's such a good pull, dude. It sucks bringing up Chuck because it was my favorite show for the longest time, and now Zachary Levi is kind of a piece of crap.
Bad man.
But, is he? No way. Good. Yeah. Good. Glad he's canceled. I never liked him.
Yeah. But I think it's like the second, maybe third episode of the series, and shenanigans happen, and he's a bumbling tech guy, and he has to try to pilot a helicopter because the pilot's been knocked out, and so they're trying to have you ever played these types of games, because it has very specific controls that are actually modeled off a real helicopter, and the camera just pans from the air over to the river, and he's like, is this one of the helicopters that can turn into a boat? And I was like, that's a Spy Hunter reference.
Nice, very nice.
Hey, listen, there is a Spy Hunter game that I own that I'm so excited to play that I feel like nobody knows about or talks about. So they rebooted Spy Hunter on PS2. I think it was PS2 only. It was just called Spy Hunter again. And they did a Spy Hunter 2, which I think went multi-platform. And then a year later, they did a Spy Hunter 3, but it was another soft reboot. And it's called Spy Hunter Nowhere to Run. Have you guys ever heard of this game?
No. Rings a bell.
It's got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who at that point is a rising star. He is not the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson that we know. And it is really cursed. I've only watched some cutscene videos of it, but I'm really excited to play that game on original hardware.
That I do know. So I remembered, did he do a Spy Hunter movie too? Or is that the one Spy Hunter thing that he did?
I think that's the only Spy Hunter thing. I don't think there's a Spy Hunter movie.
And for some reason in my brain, I had changed the files to say that the game you just described was a movie that Dwayne The Rock Johnson did. But it is that game. Yep. So I have played that game.
Oh, sick. Yeah. I bet it's great.
About it.
Also, I heard, I had to look it up, but it looks like Zachary Levi might have a different opinion on what's been happening to you for the last few days.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Exactly.
As someone with COVID, yes, that's exactly right. Heroic Headgear, can we just say, thanks for the sub. 5 months. I'm pulling over to see. He says, so after the Nintendo Any Gamers Catch the Battlefield 6 event, he said it made him wet. Respectfully.
It looks great. Yeah, it looks awesome. It really is pretty impressive. They did the whole cinematic reveal, I guess, maybe a week or two ago. and announced that it is called Battlefield 6. And then today they did the whole Call of Duty thing, basically, where here's the gameplay trailer, the gameplay reveal, and also we paid Tim the Tap Man $500,000 to play it for 3 hours, along with all the other creators, and flew so and so out for the preview and every fucking outlet. And now everybody in the media has had their hands on or at least stream time for multiple hours of like the newest build of Battlefield 6, and it does look like a pretty good fucking like return to form as far as the, I guess, heydays of like Battlefield 3 and 4. I think it looks good.
I'll give it 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Yeah.
Did they have one? Because I didn't watch any of it. Did they have one of those trailers where it's like super organic in-game chat of like, wait, did you just see that helicopter hit the building? Oh my god! Like, did they have one of those?
No, it was like mostly like streamers that were doing that in real time. It's even worse.
All right, Trent, I'm coming up on your 6.
See that? Snipe.
Yeah, very good. All right, is Battlefield still doing the thing where like every environment is destructible? I remember that was their thing.
Yeah, I think that's still the fucking move.
Never got better than Red Faction, but continue.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I mean, a few things did. Donkey Kong Bonanza may be the only game better than Red Faction.
Oh my god, you're right.
Just in general, actually.
I remember that one time when I called it Red Faction Gorilla.
I do.
Oh, that is really good. I wish that Donkey Kong, a little aside on Donkey Kong, of course. I wish that it did like what Fortnite and some other games do, where when you knock down all of the supporting structures of something, everything above it fucking crumbles. I think that would have led to some really cool shit. It probably would have fundamentally broke the game in a lot of places too, so I probably understand why they didn't do it. Yeah. But imagine taking out like just the entire bottom layer of like a massive island and then watching the entire thing crumble because there's nothing supporting it anymore.
I thought you were going to say let Donkey Kong wear Air Force Ones, but that's better, what you said.
I would love that as well. Yeah. I think Air Donks is something. Wait. Never mind. That's for a different podcast.
That's a different podcast. Next up, after Pac-Man World 2 Repack, we got another look at Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, which is a game I'm excited to play. I think if this was the first time we had seen Final Fantasy Tactics, then my 4 would have been much higher than a 4. But it's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, we've seen it. I didn't see anything like actually new of value. It's just like seeing a little bit more. But I am, because I've never played Tactics, and I've heard my whole adult gaming life that Final Fantasy Tactics is an all-timer. So I'm very excited to play a remake of that game on September 30th. I think we already had that date, but they reminded us.
I think with Tactics, the way that what I got out of this Tactics appearance at the Switch 2 event was I started watching the trailer. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fucking Final Fantasy Tactics. What else is there to, show or talk about? There's nothing new really being added, new coat of paint. But as I was watching it play on the Switch 2, I was like, oh, I want this on Switch 2, actually. This is the console that I indeed would like to play Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered, the Ivalice Chronicles on, because it's like one of those. It's a beautiful game, but it doesn't look like visually intensive or anything. Like I feel like the performance on PS5 will be similar to the performance on Switch 2 for what that game is bringing to the table. And it does feel like the type of game that if I put 6 hours into it at the start, I might put 4 hours into it on a plane on the Switch 2 a year from now. It does feel like a kind of good game to have portable.
Yeah, sure. Didn't they announce that that it actually had a free upgrade for Switch 2? Wasn't that announced today?
Yeah, I don't even know if that was in the trailer. But yeah, there's an upgrade path for Switch 1 to Switch 2 version of that game for $0.
But not for something else that we'll talk about later.
There you go. That's what we call foreshadowing in the business.
Yeah.
After that, we got Persona 3 Reload, which is coming October 23rd. And I continue to kick myself for playing Persona 3 Remake or whatever one that had been released on the Switch, like 3 weeks before Reload was announced. And it's just like, I can't play Persona 3 again, but I want to play Reload, but it's like I need at least 5 years to play through that game again. Yeah. But hey, it's coming to Switch, which would be a great way to play a Persona game.
Yeah. And should I plug the thing or no?
I don't know what you're talking about. Just plug it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on Play Along podcast.
Oh, nice. That's right.
For their kind of like Get Wrecked sub series where I am continuing my playthrough of Persona 3 Reload, and Ben, one of their hosts, is going to be playing Clair Obscura. So We're going to be like kind of exchanging thoughts on those games. But so yeah, I'm like at this point now that I've picked it back up again, I'm like 11-ish hours into it, and now they are announcing a new version. I'm like, oh well,
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess I'll just continue playing on Game Pass.
Does
My- Patrick first.
Does this host of Play Along Pod, Ben, know that you're a complete fucking psychopath about Expedition 33?
He might be starting to get an idea
Got it.
from because they their like main show, they just dropped an episode this week talking about the game, like 2/3 non-spoiler, last third spoiler, and I'm like I'm being myself in there, and
Yeah.
so he's probably
Which
getting
you
an idea.
should be, Jordan.
Aw.
You should be yourself. Jake, what were you gonna say?
It was really important, so I remember it, but I'm gonna hold it back so that I don't mess up the flow of the show.
Great. My Nana would always say, if you forgot what you were gonna say, it's because it was a lie. So
Right.
Wow.
Oh, I remember now. Nana brought it back. I thought for sure when I watched this, like, oh, here we go. Watch the next thing they're going to show is Metaphor Refantasio.
oh
Right?
sure.
For sure they would show that like sequentially, like they would show that that's coming, and Persona 5 Royal. I thought we were going to get like the holy trinity of
Yeah.
Switch 2 ports from Sega or whatever.
Which is just like a good, I think, thesis statement for my issue. Is like everything that you thought should have happened, none of it did. Like for the next thing, we didn't get a date for Age of Imprisonment. But
That's
Jordan,
the whole
you were
thing,
going to say
man.
something.
I was gonna say like the was Age of Imprisonment next?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Whatever first thing they showed at the very beginning of that trailer, something about it, I was like, is this Metaphor? Like it was like kind of zoomed out. It looked like maybe like a city, like maybe it was like that main city. I can't remember the name of it. It's been a few months. I was like, oh, this is Metaphor. Then it definitely was not. So
Was it that? It was
yeah,
right there.
yeah. I couldn't
Dude.
quite see the detail that it was, the temple or whatever. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, is this Metaphor? That's awesome. Oh, well, this is still awesome. I was
Yeah.
very excited about this.
So is that the like Temple of Time, but it's not inverted and it's sunk into the ground, so there's no tower, so it's just like the bottom of it? I don't know, maybe not, but either way, I looked at that. The first thing that I thought was like it looked like Shadow of the Colossus to me. Like I was like, that
Oh,
fucking
sure.
structure looks cool as fuck. But
Well, Jake,
Um,
recall in this era of the timeline, the structures were on the ground. They had not been lifted into the air quite yet.
That might be that, because there's like you guys can't see my mouse, but the middle bottom of the screen where there's like the half arch. I think
Mhm.
that's like in the tutorial when you're walking up the thing. I think that's that walkway, right?
I think it's the Temple of Time, and like when
Yeah.
it raises out of the ground, it's got like a shaped like a fucking candy corn, and we're looking at the big
Yeah.
fat base of it.
Right.
Yeah, whenever she spoilers for the first like 2 hours of Tears of the Kingdom, but whenever Zelda like gets the decaying Master Sword, she's there, but it's like still on the ground
Mm,
as it
Got
is
it.
there. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so they showed this and still are just saying winter. And I think that's horseshit, but I've already said that. But here's what I'll say. I'll be positive. I'll be nice. I'll be good, Jordan. I couldn't have cared less about the previous installment of this game. I don't care about like it, the Muso style Dynasty Warriors games, not for me. But there is something about this one that has me at least open to considering it, which doesn't sound like much, but I do think that this, like, if this reviews well, it will probably be a game I pick up, because as I said earlier in the podcast, I played a few hours of Tears of the Kingdom, and it was so nice to be back in that world and it being silky smooth on the Switch too.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of itching to be back in that Hyrule again. I mean, again, this isn't that Hyrule. It's we blah, 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 blah. But I'm kind of interested in this game, which I'm very surprised by. But Jordan, you said this is a day one for you?
Oh, absolutely. So one of the earlier, not like the very first, but like one of the earlier Switch 1 games I got that year of release was Fire Emblem Warriors. And I had a lot of fun with that. That was like the one that they had like an original story with some returning characters, and they eventually had the Fire Emblem Warriors, where it was like the same world as three houses, but like slightly alternate or whatever. Yeah, Three Hopes, which is also pretty cool. But in between there, they had the Age of Calamity, which it looks like Age of Imprisonment is fixing the one big critique that most people had about it, which was that, like, sorry to spoil it, no one cares because they haven't played it anyway. you think it's going to be mostly canon, like what you're playing through. That I'm just leaning into it. I'm sorry if you haven't played Breath of the Wild. You think, since it's the Age of Calamity, that you're going to be playing through the events where like all the original sages or the champions get killed, and then it's gonna end when Link falls and blah blah blah. But then there's like time travel shenanigans, alternate timelines, like they get saved and rescued and happy ending kind of thing.
Oh, that's
which like
dumb.
I still had a lot of fun with the game, honestly. Like the game itself, like the gameplay, the story that they were telling was still interesting enough to me to like see it roll credits. But yeah, like that was your face was the exact reaction for a lot of people. Was like,
dude,
why would they tell the story? But they have emphasized again and again, this is the canon events of what happened when Zelda was back in time with the Zonai during the events of the Kingdom.
That's cool.
Yeah. The Age of Calamity thing is so offensive to me in that like they could have done it so many different ways. I would love if they would have just Halo reached that thing and shown us everybody meet their fucking fate and like leaned into it, but they were too cowardly to do that. So instead they told this crazy story and then just deleted the entire thing. They gave us the whole like it was all a dream. We're setting back the time.
Oh, that pisses me off. Again.
It was such a fucking nightmare. It's so bad. It's so bad. That game is such a waste of time. And I am very fond of Legend of Zelda Hyrule Warriors, like the original one and the definitive edition and the 3DS version. I played all three of those versions, and I think that that game as like a celebration of Zelda and just like being able to control some weird ass characters like fucking Linkle and play as like Darunia from Zelda Ocarina of Time. I think there's like a place for that. Like I am excited to revisit that game every few years, especially on stream, just because it's such a fun thing to talk about so many different eras of Zelda and play through so many different maps and worlds and characters that are spawned from like, oh, this one's from Ocarina of Time, this one's from Twilight Princess, this one's from, playing as Midna. There's cool shit going on there. I look at this game and I'm like, I couldn't fucking care. And I'm down with like a Musou game too, but something about like these ones that are dedicated to a specific timeline. For me, what's fun about those Musou games is like I got 60 fucking characters to choose from.
Sure.
And in both of these, the problem appears to be like you've got 5 or 6, and they're mostly uninteresting. Although I am excited to see Raru rizz up Sonya in real time, dude. See how that goat landed that shorty.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna see.
So did you play Age of Calamity, or did you just see what happened and then say like?
I played like 4 or 6 hours, something like that.
Okay,
and then
so like there were more characters than you expect. Like you eventually got to play as the fairies. They're like still in their like in-ground fountains, doing spin attacks and whatnot. Like there were more characters than you would have initially thought they were going to be. But I see your point, and for some reason, after I just had this spiel about playing through like 4 of these Musou games. I never have touched Hyrule Warriors. That's the one, like the original one or the remaster. I've never touched those. So I need to probably do that.
Having never played either, I'd like to give Hyrule Warriors a 7 and Age of Calamity a 4, which is what I also gave this Nintendo Direct, just based on what you guys said about the game. That's my official score for both of those games.
I like it.
Great.
This is fucking insane. Listen, it's gonna be bad quality. I'm bringing up B-roll right now of the fairies being played as characters in Age of Calamity. It is actually fucking insane.
It is
maybe the coolest thing that I've ever seen in my life. I am immediately obsessed with it.
I'm so happy that you're doing this.
They're in the pod, like the big grass pod. And then they pop out and like you can only play for like their bust. It's from like their hips up. It's unreal. That's
crazy.
I want to go back and play this so badly.
That's crazy. That does feel like a stream for sure. Yeah. That's funny. Well, next we got, which we talked about earlier, we got Madden 26, which is coming August 14th in just a few weeks. And then after that, we got Chillin' by the Fire, which I don't really understand what it is, but they described it as a first-person cozy camp game. So you're like roasting mushrooms and there's people's faces in it for some reason.
Dude, it's a virtual sesh game, man. You gotta turn on your Switch 2 camera and light one up with your fucking buds and crack a fucking brewski, maybe strike your wife. I don't know. It's that kind of game.
Wow.
That's it. hell?
People that are listen. If you're around the fucking campfire with your buddies drinking light beer, you're probably one of those types.
You're
All
probably
right?
striking your wife. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think there's a direct correlation.
I'm with heroic headgear, huh? This is my Switch camera, which I've still not even plugged into my Switch. It's basically just a prop on my desk now. But if shown in the fire, by the fire, in the fire, are we in it or by it?
On it?
Are we on it? Is it in us? If that is free, I will plug it in and use that, but I'm sure it's not free.
It is 15 human fucking dollars. I looked at it. I thought about buying it.
So you're
but
saying
I also don't have a Switch camera.
Yeah. So it has $5 more of value than the tech demo that High School Weekly is in love with, right?
Yeah.
That's where we're catching strays for no reason.
Got him. After that, after we chilled by the fire, Apex Legends coming August 5th, which I guess is a big deal.
It does look clean. I'll give it that. I never actually played it in any system, but it looks clean.
Yeah. Apex Legends, I shouldn't say this because I've never played it, but it's just like, it looks so boring. Like, it doesn't look interesting at all, from like character models to gameplay to I don't know how that game has millions of players.
All right.
As someone who has never touched it.
I played Apex Legends the first season that it came out for like a couple of weeks. I was on that hype train, and I fell off. And then when COVID hit during like the end of season 3, beginning of season 4, I played 12 hours of Apex a day with my fucking homies when we were in like lockdown. And I'm bad at it, but I will say that to date, outside of like Titanfall 1 and 2, I honestly think it is the best like moment to moment movement and gameplay in a first person shooter that has ever been made. It is unfucking like, Patrick, if you've never touched it for a second, I urge you to just give like 25 minutes to Apex Legends one day.
I think I have played it when it first launched, but I'm just not an FPS guy, but I would be willing to try it again.
It's just like the way that you move and grapple and mantle and slide and shit like that. It is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
But
did you ever play the multiplayer in Titan? Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Oh, the multiplayer in Titanfall? I did not. No.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
the multiplayer in Titanfall 2 was amazing.
Really?
Like, legitimately, like, yeah.
The multiplayer in Titanfall 1 is amazing. Titanfall 1 is a multiplayer only game that came out. It was like one of the first big launches post Xbox 360 one, post Xbox One. I think it came with the 360 later, if I recall correctly. But Titanfall 1 and 2 online multiplayer is unfucking believable, and it's definitely built right off of that engine. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather.
Campaign.
I've still not played that. I really need to. It's like high on my list of shooter campaigns that I want to play at some point.
It's a little overrated.
Yeah,
I like it. It's like a good 9, but I think that it gets a lot of everyone's like, you gotta play Titanfall 2 campaigns. Unbelievable. It's like 4 hours long and it's pretty good.
I do expect it to be the best FPS campaign I've ever played.
You'd think, because yeah, exactly. And I love it, dude. Like Titanfall 2 is in my top 100 games of all time.
Yeah,
I'm just fucking saying.
I will say this, even though I'm talking shit about Apex, I would rather play Apex, and I've maybe played it once before or not, than Call of Duty. So at least give it that. Hella was next, which is a tiny mouse game, third-person adventure situation. At first, I thought they were taking Moss out of VR, but it's just a new game called Hella, and maybe we'll see. Anybody?
I think it looks hella cute.
Yeah. Hey.
Nice. I think I said while I was watching this, I bet this is the most we ever see of this video game. But I don't know. It could appeal to a bunch of people, and I could be wrong about that. Especially because it was announced so early, and it's still not until next year. I'm sure it pops up in another direct or two at this point. But there's something about these like play as like a mouse in the wilderness games where like, for some reason, there's like a dozen of them that have come out in the last 10 years, and I don't know the names of any of them except for the VR one, and I'm interested in none of them as well.
Do either of you agree with me that mice maybe get a little too much freedom in terms of art? Yep. Like, we got Stuart Little, we got Pinky in the Brain, we got Moss, we got Hella, we got
None.
That we got
the
fucking Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. I almost said that one. Reaper Cheap. So we're up to 6 now.
High Score Weekly, you might know this. There was some where it was like a really cute little animated movie from like the mid 2000s. I think the mouse had a sword.
Great Mouse Detective.
No,
Mouse Detective,
that was
Mouseketeers.
dope.
We got the Mouseketeers. We got Mickey Mouse.
Rival goes west.
I'm just saying, maybe mice need to be put in their fucking place, is what I'm saying. Anybody with me?
Little.
Are you guys really gonna let me be the one who brought up Algernon, the highest brow mice in all of literature?
Yeah.
Mouse? Meese?
Meese. I think it's Meese.
Correct. Yeah, right.
Next up, Star Wars Outlaws, coming in a little over a month, September 4th. And this was, of all the trailers that we saw, this one to me looked like it was kind of struggling. Did anybody get that vibe?
Yes, very much so. I think I'm probably the highest on Outlaws amongst our gang here, and like platinumed it, absolutely loved it. I was very much looking forward to getting it again for Switch 2 until I saw this trailer, and I was like, this looks rough. Like not completely awful, but I can count the frames when she's doing nothing but sitting there talking at the sabacc table. Like, I don't know how all these other games during this direct can look so polished and run so well, and then this one for some reason just is not.
Yeah,
I don't know. Which really sucks. Is again, like I loved it. I'm bummed that they're not getting a sequel because they've already canned it and like the early productions. Like I was able to play through the second pack of DLC thanks to Ubisoft partner program for Dido, and like had a fun time with that, getting back into it. But yeah, this did not. It did the opposite of hype me for it.
Maybe in the top left corner, none of us realized that it only had the Switch 1 logo. That's why it looked so bad. Perhaps.
I was thinking about how that game's like reception has been pretty public, that it's been essentially a bit of a underperforming failure. And I was like, maybe they're gonna. I watched this trailer pretty intently, where I was like, I wonder how they're gonna frame this now. Like they've got this one last shot of like bring this to another console. Are they going to like show us a different angle here? Are they going to emphasize parts of the game that aren't really emphasized or anything like that? And no, they just like, here, you remember this game that people kind of like? Well, it's kind of coming here.
They did have one of those. They did one of those classic things where there's a couple of these actually that were like 1 to 2 minute little kind of behind the scenes dev things of like, we're so excited to bring you Star Wars Outlaws on the Nintendo, like from like the offices over and wherever it is, and like they're talking about they had some. They implemented some touch controls for certain aspects of it, like the hacking and whatnot, which is like, okay, cool. But yeah, there was nothing that really, really sold it for people who already weren't on board. And then for people like me who thought they were on board, now I'm less excited because it looks like it's, running terribly. So
it's just like, how do you miss with Outlaws? And like, I know you liked it and I liked it fine. Like, it sounds like I hated the game. I didn't, but it's like, it's on paper, it should have been a fucking slam dunk, one of the biggest games of the year. But I mean, it's fucking Ubisoft, I guess.
I know there's a Ubisoft thing, and to some degree, obviously, there's just the toxic idiots who are like, she's not hot enough for me to play as. Oh my shit, all that stuff. And,
well, maybe the main character shouldn't have been.
And honestly, I think that some people they don't mind the Battlefront thing where you're not a Jedi all the time and you're just pew pew. But then for the other games, people hold the Fallen Order and those games in such high regard, and KOTOR and all those other games where you are a Jedi and you have the lightsaber. And so like, I think for a lot of people, if they want to play a Star Wars game, they want to be that lightsaber wielding, Force user kind of thing, where that's not an aspect of this character at all. I thought that was a cool angle. I thought it was, I liked not being OP and having to actually sneak around a little bit and like that kind of thing. But
man,
just didn't work.
This is its own podcast. Somebody write this down. But like, we should each just like make our own Star Wars game, like a fantasy video game. Star Wars, just pitch the fuck out of a bunch of different games, because how do they constantly miss the mark? It's like they're fucking obsessed with telling these stories about new like OC characters that nobody gives a fuck about, and then trying to intertwine it like, but look, he bumped into Obi-Wan Kenobi once.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking cool. 17 hours into the game, huh?
Yeah. It
Like,
drives me nuts.
Come on, bro. Like, let me just play as fucking Han Solo for 18 hours and roll around and do smugly things. Like, I don't want to reinvent the wheel here. Like, I would just play through the events of A New Hope as Luke Skywalker, even if the opening hour and a half was boring as fuck.
Sure.
I think what we run in. Sorry, you.
This exact topic works for Lord of the Rings too. It's like, how do they always fucking miss with Lord of the Rings?
No,
games?
Lord of the Rings is really good. What the fuck?
I don't know. But
Lord of the
that's
Rings has better games than Star Wars games.
That I think at a glance I agree with, but that's a topic. Star Wars versus Lord of the Rings.
Those
games.
are three
That's a
different
fucking topic.
Those are 3 fucking podcasts I just heard.
Yeah. God damn.
I'm opening up the dock.
Jordan, what were you gonna say?
But like, we run into the Star Wars fandom is just you can't win. Either you keep running into the same characters or using the same characters, and everyone's like, why can't you pick someone else besides the 10 people that we've known for 40 years? Or you try to make a new character, and then everyone's like, why are you using a new character? Just show me somebody that I already know. So it's like, you can't win. Like, someone's always going to be screaming about it on the internet.
Yeah.
So,
When I say this, I don't include heroic headgear. Star Wars fans are fucking scum, dude. Like, they're the worst. They're so bad, dude. And I fucking adore Star Wars.
yes.
So, but yeah, they're the average Star Wars fan is a bad person. By the way, when we do pitching Star Wars, I'm just gonna pitch 1313 because it keeps me up at night still that we did
Stupid as fuck.
Okay, after Star Wars Outlaws, we got some chats. Let's talk to the chat. Heroic Headgear, the idea of a heist crew was cool, but the crew should have been your homies. Star Wars is always better with co-op. That's interesting. If Star Wars Outlaws ended up having a co-op angle as well. Cirrus saying Star Wars game that is a secret Star Wars game and you don't find out until a ways into it for real. See, that on paper is cool, but you know who would never let you know they would go 10 seconds before they tell you it's Star Wars is Star Wars. Like, there's no way they could never keep that secret. Like, they have to tell you that it's fucking Star Wars because
Kathleen Kennedy would kick in your fucking door and smack you with a lightsaber.
Correct. Okay. After Star Wars Outlaws, we got Kronos: The New Dawn, which is a new Bloober Team third-person survival horror game in space, which is coming out in just over a month. And I'm really torn on this game because I see it and it looks fucking cool. And then I listen to and I read previews and they're like, stop it, Jake. And they're like, this game is like fine. I'm like, because it's on my fantasy critic team and I feel like I maybe need to drop it, but I don't know that I can drop any more games because I'm always in there fucking making moves and it's not good. But Jordan, you about creamed your leathers just then. You're excited for Kronos?
I am. I never got into the Silent Hill franchise at all, so I didn't touch the remake from last year. Right, last year from Bloober.
Last year.
But I think I've talked about it before. I was a really big fan of the Medium when it came out. That was actually my first. Well, now it's against current, but at the time, next gen game was the Medium because that was like exclusively for the series and for PS5 eventually. Had a really good time with that one. And this looked conceptually very interested in this one. I was pleasantly surprised to see it coming to Switch too, because again, this was one of the times where it's like we knew about this game, but we had not heard until today that it was actually coming to Switch too. And the footage that they were showing looked excellent. It didn't look like it was Star Wars Outlawsing it at all.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't know that this is a game that I will play on the Switch too. I will probably play this on the PlayStation, but it did look like it. Like, I'm glad, like for you, as someone who sold their PlayStation, I'm glad that it seems like it'll probably be a good place to be able to play this game. So
yeah, for sure.
That's nice. Jake, do you want to talk about the vagina mouth?
No.
Okay.
I want to fish it.
You want to fuck it? Okay, good. Very good. Oh, good. I shouldn't have asked. After that, we got Yakuza Kiwami 2, and then we got a montage. And I am just skating by because I don't think any of us have anything to say about Yakuza.
I do actually have. Oh, no. Please.
Right, well,
yours is probably much more important than mine.
It's probably not, but I'll go ahead and go anyway since you gave me the floor. I said this in the what do you call it? Super chat, kind of funny today, but like the when they were going back there, the art style for Shinobi Path of Vengeance, right? It's called. First of all, just the game looks awesome anyway. But like, the more I look at this game, the more I'm like, wow, this looks like the same type of art style as a Bow Path of the Teal Lotus. I just hope that it's better than that game because that game is falling down a bit.
Dude, there's like 7 fucking Bow Path of the Teal Lotus fans that just went crazy right now that someone talked about their game. Mentioned.
And the studio got closed down like 8 days after.
All right, now I feel bad about that. Yeah, that's dot. I think it's dot. Can we settle this once and for all? How do you say this fucking studio's name? Dot emu dot m like emulation dot mu.
I'm actually not interested in knowing. Or
okay, yeah. Very good. All right, here's my fucking question. First of all, the Shinobi, also worth noting, demo out on all platforms as of today, which wasn't really.
Oh, I see. I was like, why the fuck are we talking about Shinobi? We said Yakuza, but the montage. I was like, I was so confused. But yes, okay.
Yeah. And then also with Yakuza, I was really fucking confused by why there was such a focus on Kiwami 2. And then they were like, and also Kiwami 1. I was like, wait, why is there so much fanfare for the second one? And then the first one is just like an afterthought. That was weird.
Because that's Yakuza.
I guess, yeah.
I think the first one is already on the Switch. And so this was an announcement that the second one's coming to both. And then you can also buy it in a bundle or have the Switch 2 upgrade for this first one, I think.
Gotcha.
Got it. You can look it up and correct me and roast me if you want to. But
are we still talking montage?
Yeah. So in the montage, we got NBA Bounce, we got a new Hello Kitty expansion, Romancing Saga 2, Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which we just talked about, and Borderlands 4. I think there's one game that I didn't write down actually in the montage. If anybody remembers what that is,
I don't. Borderlands 4 again. I'm hyped for it, but I don't need to see any more about it. They've already shown us like 14 trailers for it, so.
Jordan, just a heads up, your internet is fucked right now. We can barely understand what you're saying.
Love that for me.
Yeah. Very good. He actually sounds clear on my end, which is fucking crazy. I had no idea.
Oh, maybe it's
Patrick, yours sounds good too. So who knows what the fuck is going on? I will say that the NBA Bounce is probably going to be bad, but also does that look like something I want to play? God damn, that seems fucking fun. You play as the mascots for all of the NBA teams.
Yeah.
So rad, dude.
The art style, it's given fucking, what are those little figurines with the black eyes that made a game?
Pop socket.
Yeah.
Funko Fusion.
Funko Fusion. It's giving Funko Fusion level bullshit. In the way that the game, it looks so bad.
Dude, I don't know if I'm still under NDA on this fucking game, but the one... Let's assume that I'm not, because let's assume that I am. Maybe the right thing to do is to assume that I am.
The right thing to do is to assume you can't say whatever it is you're about to say.
The other game that you didn't have mentioned, I guess I won't give my opinions on it because I have played Goodnight Universe, I think is the name of it. It's from the team that made Before Your Eyes, which is in my top 25 games of all time. I think one of the coolest video games that's been made in the last decade for sure. Go play Before Your Eyes. It's constantly like $3 on Steam, and it's always fucking on sale. It's also part of Netflix, I believe, if you want to play it on your phone. But
might not be. Netflix just got rid of so much of their shit.
Oh, that's probably true. That's probably true. Yeah. But yeah, that game is the one that you're missing from the montage. It's a cool, interesting game.
Thank you. Hey, did I win a code on your stream last night, Jake?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
No, you didn't win a code.
No, you just said I did. You said I did.
Yeah,
give me a code.
Actually, somebody won a code, and I messaged it to them. And they're like, I don't have an Xbox. And I was like, I'll give it to P-Swag.
Hey, there we go. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, we are down to our last 2 announcements. The first one, I'm going to be mean. This is a new HD 2D RPG set in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Are you fucking kidding me with this shit?
Born and raised.
The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. Are you fucking kidding me with this bullshit title? But this game looks sick as fuck.
Yeah. for sure.
The demo
I
was
don't
getting
know.
some really good hype
it?
from people. I'm seeing, yeah.
I don't know what's happening with fucking Team Asano, dude. Like they can't. Their naming conventions are so crazy. Like Project Triangle Strategy, and then they fucking change it, and they're like, "We're not changing it.
Triangle
Actually, it's just called Triangle Strategy."
So fucking dumb.
Project Octopath changing to Octopath Traveler. Like they are just. I would love to be in that room when they're like, "What should we call it?" And someone's like,
So, is this the team?
"Emilia."
Is this the team that did Triangle Strategy and Octopath?
I think so.
It appears that way.
And are they also doing Octopath Zero, which we'll talk about next?
Yeah.
It also appears that way. I've
They're
got
fucking cooking.
I mean,
Yeah, dude.
dude, they're all over it. This is the people that just put out Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD as well, and it's this dude Asano and his fucking Team Asano, but they're under some different moniker. And again, we don't exactly know who's working on this because Square Enix recently restructured very similarly to the way that Nintendo did like 7 or 8 years ago, where they just kind of put everything under Square Enix, and then there's like, instead of creative business unit, it's like Studio 3, and there was some realignments and stuff. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like this game, Live Alive, Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D, Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, and then Bravely Default and Bravely fucking Second are like all Asano, which is crazy. Output's insane.
Crazy. I just like, how do you have such a successful company making millions of dollars, and someone at a table said, "Let's call the fucking setting Philadelphia," and no one said, "Fuck you, that's terrible." What?
I remember. I think I showed y'all the screenshot, but I was like reacting live with my cousin, and I was just like, "This game looks cool, but it's about to have a stupid name." And then like a minute later, I was like, "Yep, The Adventures of Elliot." And I saw somebody say like, "Oh, I'm glad they actually finally gave it a real name this time instead of Triangle Strategy." I was like, "How is Adventures of Elliot any better?" Like,
I would rather play Triangle Strategy. Just if you just show me 2 names, I'm picking Triangle Strategy over The Adventures of Elliot. Set in
Triangle Strategy.
Philadelphia.
I will say, great ideas, not the best execution of some of them. I got like 3/4 the way through the game, probably.
Okay.
But yeah, I do want to check this out. I haven't tried the demo quite yet. Had a busy afternoon, but I want to check it out.
I watched somebody play a decent amount of the demo today, and the big takeaway that I had was that when they were calling it like a 2D like hack and slash RPG, I guess like in my head I was thinking more, even though in retrospect what I'm about to say makes a lot more sense than what I had in my head. I guess I was thinking like a Tales game, you know, like not from the Shire. I mean like Tales of Arise or something like that, one of those RPGs where it's just like an ARPG. But what it really looks like is like, this kind of just seems like a Zelda game.
Yes,
in a lot of
I've
ways.
heard that too. Yeah.
So I think like with the exploration and a little bit of the light platforming and puzzle solving and stuff like that, and then having the combat just feel like a little bit of a upgraded version of that classic 2D Zelda feeling, I think this game could be really, really dope. But yeah, the title's dog shit.
I also wish he wasn't wearing like a fedora. But
right. Yeah.
I guess it's not a fedora. It's more like what Carmen Sandiego wears, which is hot. So maybe I'm not actually
so hot, dude.
Have y'all ever seen that Chelsea Peretti stand up from like several years ago? I think it was on Netflix.
I don't think I've seen that Chelsea Peretti stand up. But go ahead.
Lost me at Chelsea's Peretti stand up.
But she says something like, "What do you guys think is worse, wearing a fedora or killing 15 guys?"
Yeah, that sounds right.
It depends on who the guys are. In fact,
so, totally. What if one of them Zachary Levi?
I mean,
and you can wear the fedora all day long.
There we go. Now we're fucking talking. They closed out the Nintendo Direct with Octopath Traveler 0
coming
December 4th. First question: Does this come December 4th? Yeah. You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I say no.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so I was like curious about this game, and I tried to dig in because I've played Octopath Traveler 1 for like 8 hours, and I've played the vast majority of Octopath Traveler 2. And I was like, so is this like a prequel or something? Why is this Octopath Traveler 0 and not Octopath Traveler 3? And again, they're all like loosely connected as well, and I don't know all of the lore, but I brought up Square Enix's like press release for this, and there's kind of some fuckery going on, and I don't know if this is being widely reported on. So maybe I'm breaking this publicly. No, not breaking it. It's part of fucking Square Enix's press release, but a lot of people don't read those. They're just like, well, great, a new fucking Octopath. If you look at it, there is some of the makings of, you can kind of tell, like if you recontextualize what I say, well, if you recontextualize that trailer after hearing what I say here, you'll probably notice some indications of it. This is based off of the bones of like a mobile gacha Octopath game. So like the 4th or 5th section of the Square Enix press releases, how does this game relate to Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent? If you play the mobile title Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent, the game setup may sound a little familiar. That's because Octopath Traveler 0 is inspired by story elements and gameplay ideas from that game. The new entry in the Octopath Traveler series has been designed as a full-fledged console and PC RPG. It takes the acclaimed story from the mobile release, but reworks it to add in new story content and streamlines the overall story for a more compelling experience. It features a new script with new narrative elements, new backstories for playable characters, as well as full voice acting that brings many of the twists and turns home more effectively. Similarly, Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent featured battles with 8 character parties. Octopath Traveler 0 takes that idea and refines it to create even more strategically satisfying skirmishes. But you can look into this and you'll see a little bit of that gacha DNA in it. There's like a really interesting shot where like 200 fucking nondescript characters show up right at the end, and I don't know, it's a little weird. The thing that they seem to have added is, to me, the most compelling part of the entire game is that there seems to be a new overarching like create your own village type of situation, which I fucking love in a game that's not about creating your own village. Here's what I don't want: a game to create my own village in only. I want a game that I do other stuff in, but I can also create my village in, because I love coming home to a house in a video game, especially an RPG. You know, in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, going fucking northeast and getting my Terrytown hut going, and then expanding that and starting and saving the game in that spot every single time is really, really fucking dope. Like I like improving my settlements. Don't you?
Yeah.
High School Weekly with a Nino Kuni 2 reference.
We love it.
Yeah.
I wanted you to pause right here because you say nondescript. There are 8 very descript people here, starting with just above the letter H.
And these are all the Octopath 1 characters, huh?
Yeah, from that H down, those are all the Octopath 1 characters. Yeah. And
then above the H, that's the dancer, right above the O, and in between the O and the H. Yeah, so I think the first like 4 or 6 rows are Octopath 1 characters.
To the top left of that is actually the anime waifu of my dreams. So they're all they had them all. Everyone's invited.
I just don't know that I feel like I'm the world's hope, but maybe Octopath 0 will change that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit concerned hearing that this is a reimagining of a mobile game, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting.
I mean, that's if you think about it, that's kind of what they did with that. What was it? You were playing it, I think, Jake, the Neo Fantasian something from like a month or 2 ago.
Oh yeah, but that was not. That is like actually a much more faithful port, and it is not a free to play gacha game. That game is a paid like single player RPG. So that's like a pretty faithful port of that Neo Fantasian game. It's like 2 games rolled into one, but very little changed, and they didn't have to adapt it from a.
I understand your concerns. I don't share them. From what I've seen, I don't share them. Like, I think I saw somebody say that there's 40 total characters. I didn't see Square say that. I don't know where they got that number. Maybe it is in the Square press release. I just didn't see it. But you get to like create your own character, and there's like the whole town, like building the town thing, as well as recruiting people. I'm really hyped for it, honestly. Hopefully I actually stick with this one.
The default character name was 0. That's probably why it's called Octopath Traveler 0.
So good.
Well, that's a good idea. Because you're building it up from 0 because the town gets lost, and so
I think
You ready for my theory on this game?
Yes.
7s, maybe some 8s out of 10. Doesn't live up to the other Octopath Travelers bars. Probably does more damage to like the budding franchise than it does help. You know, and I think that we'll probably have a delay on Octopath Traveler 3, and they'll be working on other projects sooner rather than later.
Okay. Fucking book it, brother.
Write it down, clip it.
So that's the end. That brings us to the end of the direct. So obviously there's some big missing things. Let's stick with the third party because this is a partner direct first. Silksong. The more I've thought about Silksong not being there, I think the more it makes sense that it wasn't there because of how much it's been Xbox coded lately. Like we'll probably. Do we think that it's likely that we get a date at Gamescom for Silksong?
No. It's never likely we're going to get anything Silksong related ever. It's a stupid gamble to make.
What I'm thinking, I love you. Like, I was trying to think about it, and I'm like, they've said a couple things. There's a demo at Gamescom, and then Team Cherry in a rare public appearance.
Oh my fucking god!
No, this is enforcing your point, Jake. So just hang on, because they said like, oh, don't be fooled by the wording from the Xbox presentation. Like, our release date is not tied to anything like any other console release. So in other words, like this ROG Ally X Series S, 3 definitive edition is going to come and go and not have Silksong at the same time. But there's going to be a demo.
Well,
the release date.
I believe what they were saying with that, I could be wrong, was that at first everyone was reporting, oh, that's the release date of Silksong. And they were saying, no, that's not the release date. It'll just be playable on the ROG Ally.
Right.
And
that's
so,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I took it to mean that it will be coming out before the ROG Ally.
I think that
what
if
they
it
were
was,
saying.
I think if it was coming out before the ROG Ally, Xbox would have said it already, or Nintendo would have just announced it today. The fact that neither one of them said it.
This is so fucking stupid. This company sucks so bad that's the conversation that we're having. Like, I actually am passionate about how much I fucking dislike how the conversations about this stupid game have to go. And it sucks that it's like well regarded as a franchise, but I think that this is so disrespectful and so foolish. And I guess joke's on us because here we are talking about it again. And maybe, there's no such press as bad press. And I get that to a certain point, but it will never get that bad taste out of my mouth. That game could come out and be a fucking 10 tomorrow, and the whole road to get here will not have been worth it, and I'm embarrassed for Team Cherry and fucking Hollow Knight fans.
I agree. No, I agree.
I think it's so bad, dude.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where I think I'm right in what they intended with that statement, and Yuhla in the chat is agreeing, and he's in my mind the premier voice on Silksong. But I don't. But even though that's what they're saying, I don't believe them. I don't believe that we would. I expect that we would get a date at Gamescom, but that's the fucking fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, and you can't fool me again, as quoted by George W. Bush in the film
Indeed.
W. It's just
twice.
It's silly. It's all very silly.
Fool me 37 times. Shame on us, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm so fucking tired of this fucking game.
It's so dumb, dude.
Yeah. Yep. But we'll see. Hades 2. They've said that we're going to be getting this on Switch as a Switch console exclusive, timed or whatever. Eventually it'll come everywhere. But I really expected that we would get a date for this.
Yeah.
Big miss. Yeah. Huge fucking miss.
My only guess is that maybe we have it wrong on how long it will take for that game. Because I feel like initially they said it wasn't going to be out in 2025. But then the tides seemed to change. And they said in their last update that this is the last update before like the 1.0 release. But
and then they had another update. And then they were like, "Oh, we said that was our last update, but we do have one more update." I turned on my PC after my vacation and I opened up Steam and it was doing the downloads and it was like, "Oh, surprise, we have another update." It's like, God fucking damn it. Yeah. I don't know about this anymore. But I mean, that's the kind of thing where because it's such a known quantity with its early access, that could be it's coming out Tuesday kind of announcement. I don't think it'll need this big long extended press tour because millions of people already own it on PC. That could be a Switch Today announcement in the app for sure. I expected it to be here today.
Yeah, I think there's a really good point being made in the chat. Sirius brought up it might get its own little direct then. I think that isn't an entire possibility. I would maybe lean towards it anchoring like a September Indie World Showcase. or something like that might be a good place for it to land if it's going to make it this year. I am now sort of on the side after not seeing it. Like, I don't think they're going to dick us around, and I don't think they're trying to silk song it, as they say. I think that this is just like, hey, like, no, we just don't know when this is going to be ready. Like, we're trying to be as transparent as possible. Like, the game, we have no more big planned updates until the game is ready. We'll tell you when we know when it's ready, kind of thing, which I think is a respectable stance to have on a game that doesn't have a tied down window or anything like that. But I do think that is a game where it was easy for a lot of outlets and a lot of people that are making predictions to look at Hades 2, I think, and be like, well, that seems like something that should be here at a partner showcase, just because of how tied to the Nintendo Switch the original Hades 1.0 release was, because that game was also early access on Steam for a very long time, and there was not a small amount of people that knew that game was an absolute banger. But really, like, I think the whole coming out party of that game was that like late half of the year in 2020 maybe, when it hit like, this game is available on Steam or Switch, and a lot of people picked that game up on Switch and identify that as a Switch game. So I think that is probably where it does pop up.
I agree. Yeah, I think that we could get like a month's notice at most for that game, and it'd be fine. So I'm not too concerned. I just we'll see. We've already talked about Age of Imprisonment not getting a date, but my official stance is 2026. Do either of you think it can come this year still?
I feel like if it was going to come this year, they would have probably said it. I feel like that game is probably looking like February.
Okay.
I won't be shocked if it's February or like later, but I think it still has a chance.
Okay.
I think if they knew for sure, they would have also said like coming next. I don't know. Yeah. Words.
I feel like winter is that really non-direct way of saying
yes.
It might be this year, it might be next year, but I feel like typically when someone says winter, I think they typically mean next year.
Actually, they didn't even say winter 2025. They just said coming this winter.
Right.
So good point.
Because if we're talking fucking seasons, baby, winter doesn't start until like the end of the year, like 5 days before the year is over. So
December 20th-ish, 21st.
22nd maybe might be the official day.
Maybe like 21st.
Yeah, it might be the 25th actually.
Maybe Christmas.
It might be fucking Christmas, you motherfucker.
Okay.
Any other third-party games that we were surprised? Yuhla in the chat said Dustbloods. I didn't expect Dustbloods personally.
No, but I think that there was like I think obviously that this was like a curated list and not a comprehensive list of what is coming. I think, like I was saying at the beginning of this, like, seemed to be contractual obligations with whoever they had already struck up deals with, or people with deep pockets like Ubisoft and EA, who only put out 5 to 7 games a year at this point and need them to be crammed into these events because they don't have events of their own anymore. But there were, I think, some omissions that were like surprising to me, like for games that I had written down that I was like, oh, I fully expect to see this here because it just makes sense. I was surprised not to see the Story of Seasons game. We were just talking about Seasons, in fact. That comes out like a month from now. I think Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D was on my list of things that we would see. Really surprised not to see like some of those big known quantities like Marvel Cosmic Invasion, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, Power Wash Simulator 2, and then some of the really big already announced Switch ports. Like, I thought for sure we would have at least three of like the combination of Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, Elden Ring, fucking Red Dead Redemption 2, Oblivion, Assassin's Creed Shadows, like some of those big third-party games from the last 3 or 4 years that are finally going to work their way onto a Nintendo console that we just didn't see today. And I'm surprised that we don't have like ironclad dates for those. I wonder if it's just like, pay up, Square Enix. You only got 7 slots. So you fucking Octopath Traveler 03 2D HD, Little Bedelia Chronicles, and various Day Life 2.
That was, I think I said at the top, that was my biggest surprise. Like, if I had to, really put money, I was like, okay, for sure, we're gonna get a date for Remake, Integrate, whatever. They may even start teasing out Rebirth because they've already said it's going to be coming. They just haven't said any sort of like year or month or anything like that. And then pie in the sky was going to be, maybe even Expedition 33 gets announced as coming to Switch 2. But for sure, I was like, my two locks were like, okay, yeah, duh, Silk Song, LOL, and then duh, Final Fantasy VII Remake gets like the date, because again, I think we said it before. This may be the time where I finally actually pick it up and really give it an old college try, because I haven't done so to this point. So, where are you at? Where you at, Cloud?
Where you at? You blonde fuck.
Fucking dude, trying to keep it together, man. Cut him some slack.
God damn it! I still need to finish Rebirth. I'm like, I probably have 30 minutes left of Rebirth, and I've not finished it.
No, you probably, if you think you have 30 minutes left, you probably have like 2.5 hours, and they're the most banging 2.5 hours fucking ever. Oh my god, I love that shit so much.
God damn it!
Please beat it so we can talk about it.
Okay, I will. I'll beat it, and then we can talk about it, Jake. Some audience submissions. Kayla, the homie, said she was most excited for Plants vs. Zombies remake. Very nostalgic for her. She said she's also never played Octopath Traveler or Katamari, but want to start. Wins across the board, W's across the board from Kayla there.
Yes.
Coal Mines, only things of interest are Hyrule Warriors AOI and that Adventures of Elliot game. Sucks that it's called fucking The Adventures of Elliot. Though if it was good to see some new drops, I may still be out on Octopath Traveler, because after Sea of Stars and E33, I want my turn-based games to be active in some way. Traditional just doesn't do it for me anymore. And then Gianni said, when I saw the logo treatment, I was like, who is responsible for the Millennium Tales and who is responsible for the Adventures of Elliot? Because it can't be the same person, which then leads me to wondering, did they think the Adventures of Elliot was a more marketable franchise name than the game's actual subtitle? To which I then add, I mean, look at Clair Obscura, though. We just call it Expedition 33 now. So maybe we'll just call it the Millennium Tales and forget about the Adventures of Elliot. But I don't know. I think the Adventures of Elliot will follow it around.
You could have at least picked like a not standard suburban name. Like, you get like the Legend of Zelda. That's not like, there have been famous Zeldas in history, like Zelda Fitzgerald, but like that's not a very common name. Elliot,
sure,
really?
The Adventures
of Richard.
It's so weird. Do you think? All right, here's my question. Do you like that title more, or like a thoroughly insane like fantasy title? I always think of Dragon Quest Heroes with the subtitle "The World Trees Woe and the Blight Below." would you prefer this?
Yes, I would prefer The World Trees Blight Below, or whatever.
The World Trees Woe and the Blight Below.
Got it. I see. I prefer that to the.
It sounds like a Arcade Fire album title, but yeah, I'll take it.
Oh god,
I'll take it. Very interesting. Any final thoughts on this Nintendo Direct, fellas?
No.
I think so.
Well, there you go.
I think you guided us through everything we could possibly think of.
Thank you. Well, that's our show. Why don't you head over to dropoutpod.com. At the top of the show, I told you about other things we're doing. We got the book club at Jake and Games. We got the new essay from Cognitive Clips. We got the gaming news you need to know about from fucking Spotlight Games Pod, which we didn't do this week, but we're going to be back next week. We got fucking daily, sometimes hourly streams from the homie Jake Twitch, and we got shit. We got shit. We got shit. Full stop. We got shit. Thanks for being here. What a pop-in chat today. Dan Good, Sear Shard, You Hula fucking High Score Weekly, GWT Maury, Heroic Headgear, Coal Mines. We had a lot of fucking fun. I hope you did too. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you don't already, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Use your Prime sub. If you have Amazon Prime, if you're not part of the fucking boycott of Jeff Bezos, why don't you just throw that Prime sub our way? We'll take it. Until next week, thanks for being here. We love you. Bye.
Bye.